My husband faked an illness to trick me into donating a kidney to his true love. His white moonlight first love, Luna, called me, informing me that my husband needed an emergency kidney transplant. I ignored her and called the hospital directly. I'm his wife. Stop his treatment. She panicked. He's your husband. I gave a cold laugh. If he dies, I'll throw him the grandest funeral. Donate a kidney? Dream on. She had no idea I'd been reborn. In my past life, I foolishly signed the kidney donation papers, only to realize I was donating it to her. After she recovered, she and my husband conspired to harm me. This time, as soon as I opened my eyes, I immediately forwarded her call to a funeral home. Please sign the papers quickly. Your husband's condition is very serious. I glared at the fake doctor, my hands clenched tight. In my previous life, he'd taken money from my husband to falsify his kidney failure diagnosis. I, overjoyed, believed he'd receive a successful transplant and eagerly signed the donation form. But this time, I swore I wouldn't let it happen again. When Dr. Reed offered the consent form once more, I clutched my stomach, pretended to vomit, and rushed out. I don't feel well. I intentionally shoved a chair into his leg, the edge hitting his shin. He yelped in pain. I ignored him and called my mother-in-law. Everything was already prepared. Now, all I had to do was act. In my past life, after donating a kidney, I found out my husband wasn't sick at all. My kidney had been given to Luna, his white moonlight. Realizing the truth, I coldly threw divorce papers in his face. This house is my premarital asset. Get out immediately. My husband obediently agreed, feigning regret, promising to go to court for the divorce the next day. But on the way to court, the car brakes suddenly failed. My car plunged off the bridge, falling into the deep river. I died in the cold water. My soul watched Luna's car from afar, her face triumphant and mocking me. The fool thought she could keep her assets and demand a divorce, huh? My husband embraced her, his hand caressing her back, his eyes full of greed. How could she know? We tampered with the brakes last month. Now she's dead, her money, her house, it's all ours. Ha ha! My heart felt as if it had been stabbed, the pain unbearable. The man I loved, the man I trusted, wanted to take my life. Seeing their triumphant faces, I wanted to strangle them, but I could only watch helplessly as they caressed each other. I screamed in despair. Ethan, Luna, I curse you both to die a fragmented death. I cried until I had no tears left, only able to watch Ethan quickly cremate me and sell my car. They used my money to hold a wedding and live in my house. They even spread rumors that I was promiscuous, causing people to despise me. Perhaps my resentment was too great, for I returned to the time before I donated my kidney. I hid the deep-seated hatred in my eyes, sent money to a private detective, and then walked step by step into the hospital room. This time, it was my turn to show them what a vengeful ghost truly was. In the ICU, Ethan lay weakly, hooked up to numerous tubes. He looked at me, tears streaming down his face as if pleading. Through the glass partition, he struggled to open his mouth and groan, "Chloe, I'm so uncomfortable. Have you seen Dr. Reed yet?" As he spoke, the layer of makeup on his face betrayed his trembling. Hatred surged within me. I couldn't understand why I hadn't seen through his cheap act before. To avoid me getting close, he'd even stayed in the ICU room alone. I hated myself for being so foolishly in love, and I hated Ethan even more. A despicable creature, no better than an animal. I was 3 years older than Ethan, so when he confessed his feelings, I refused him. But he didn't give up, always smiling warmly, his eyes filled with concern. "Chloe, here's your favorite milk and eggs. You're too thin, eat more. I made this backpack for you myself. Do you like it? It's going to rain tomorrow, I'll pick you up. It's getting cold, I'll knit you a scarf." Little by little, he won my heart. My father had passed away, and he was the only one by my side. So, as soon as we graduated, we got married. After marriage, he also took good care of me. I thought I had chosen the right person, but only when the truth was exposed did I realize I had been wrong from the very beginning. In fact, he never cared about me from the start. He was only focused on my house and the inheritance money from my father. He had been planning this for a very long time. He truly was an insidious person. Seeing me silent, he raised his voice. "Chloe, I'm sorry. We planned a trip to the beach, but now I can't go with you anymore." Hearing his mournful tone, I just wanted to throw up, exactly like his fake despair after I died. In my past life, at my funeral, he clutched my urn tightly, wailing, "Chloe, why did you leave me? How can I live? You said you didn't care about my infidelity, so why did you take your own life?" That fake heartbroken face imprisoned me in the darkness of humiliation. He even hired people to pretend to be my lovers, disrupting the funeral, intentionally knocking over the urn, causing my ashes to vanish into the drain, leaving no trace of me in this world. Chloe, why haven't you signed yet? My mother-in-law's shrill voice pulled me back from my memories. She held the kidney donation form, her face looking as if she wanted to devour me, stepping closer. Sign quickly. With that, she gestured to my father-in-law to hold my hands tightly. Both of them gripped me, forcing me to sign. The doctor said Ethan doesn't have much time left. Hurry up and sign. I won't sign. I unexpectedly pushed them away, and in that moment I sharply elbowed her in the waist. My mother-in-law fell to the ground, screaming pitifully. Oh heavens, my daughter-in-law hit her mother-in-law. Oh God, why are you treating me so badly? My son was so good to you and you won't save him. Ethan's eyes flashed with a sinister gleam. Mom, don't pressure Chloe anymore. He looked at me with eyes full of affection. Chloe, even if you don't save me, I won't blame you. I love you and I'm willing to die for you. After I die, please find someone who truly loves you. I scoffed coldly in my heart. For me, how ridiculous. Looking at his self-sacrificing demeanor, everything from the past came rushing back to me vividly. When my mother-in-law and I argued, he always sided with me. But in the end, the only one who benefited was my mother-in-law. From the beginning, I was always the loser. Before getting married, we made it clear that we wouldn't live with his parents. But just a month after the wedding, my mother-in-law moved in with her belongings. I objected, and Ethan agreed with me, scolding his mother and even turning against her. Afterward, he secretly called his mother to apologize. Mom, I'm an unfilial son. Please don't blame me. I promised Chloe we'd live separately. I have to keep my word. I'm sorry. Seeing him slap his own face in frustration, and looking at him like that, I softened and let my mother-in-law move in. In my past life, I eagerly signed the kidney donation papers without all these theatrics. Now that I was refusing, they started their good cop, bad cop routine. I want to see all of Ethan's test reports. I extended my hand towards my mother-in-law, my voice firm. My mother-in-law's face flashed with panic, then she angrily yelled, "Oh heavens, my daughter-in-law doesn't trust her mother-in-law. Ethan is already in the recovery room. Are you blind? Don't you see how miserable he is?" I certainly am blind. In my past life, I was deceived by them, losing my life and all my money. In my previous life, I didn't check the test reports. When I learned Ethan had kidney failure, I was utterly panicked. I was certain they had no reports in hand. My father-in-law said nothing about the reports, only siding with his wife. Chloe, the doctor said your body is very healthy. Donating one kidney won't affect your health. You'll still live a healthy life as usual. My hands clenched tightly, throbbing with pain. After donating a kidney, my health deteriorated, suffering from illness daily. But before I donated, my mother-in-law promised to take care of me, yet she was nowhere to be seen. And Ethan never came home. The last time I saw my mother-in-law alive was at Luna's celebration party. Her smug face and cruel words were still vivid in my mind. Little Luna's illness is finally cured. It was Ethan who had the idea to fake an illness so that wretched girl would donate a kidney. Truly foolish. I just told her you had kidney failure, and she immediately ran to get tested for a transplant. In my past life, if I hadn't accidentally overheard them, I would have died without knowing I'd been tricked. Now, looking at their expressions, I gave a cold laugh. I am his wife. Can't I check the reports to see if there are any errors in the scans? You're both rushing me to sign the kidney donation papers like this. I need to know about his condition, don't I? I pretended to look at them in surprise. Are you two perhaps hiding something from me? The old couple grew even more panicked, trying to keep calm as they dragged me to the door, shouting loudly, "Everyone, come see how well my son treats her, yet at this crucial moment she abandons him." My mother-in-law's face was full of malice, staring intently at me. "I see it now, you don't want to save my son." Her eyes gleamed with venom as she pointed a finger at me. "Do you have another man outside? What a bunch of trash, all eager to tarnish my reputation." I watched with satisfaction as the crowd grew larger and larger. They only listened to my mother-in-law's words, uttering criticisms. "This girl doesn't look gentle at all. If she were my daughter-in-law, I'd have slapped her already. Promiscuous women like her should have been drowned in a pigsty in the old days." Seeing everyone on her side, my mother-in-law cried even more piteously. "I only have one son. If he dies, I won't be able to live either. Just donate a kidney, and after this, you can go with whoever you want. We won't blame you." My lips curled into a barely perceptible smile, but immediately my eyes welled up with tears, and I trembled as I pulled out a piece of paper. Mom, Dad, if I didn't want to donate a kidney, I wouldn't have gone for the transplant tests. I just found out I'm pregnant, so I wanted to know Ethan's condition. How could you accuse me of having an affair? I turned towards the lurking detective, intentionally facing the camera. I choked back tears. Everyone, please help me decide. I've borne children for this family, yet they tarnish my reputation, push me to the brink, wanting both mother and child to die. People saw the ultrasound image showing a 12-week fetus and immediately turned to scold my mother-in-law. The daughter-in-law is pregnant, yet the mother-in-law is forcing her to donate a kidney. That's right, and even slandering her own daughter-in-law. This morning, I saw her rushing to get a kidney transplant test. The couple is still good. Even if you're anxious for your son, you shouldn't spread rumors about your daughter-in-law having an affair. The tide turned and my mother-in-law angrily shrieked, I despise her. She's been in my house for 5 years and not a peep from her belly. This ultrasound photo must be fake. She's selfish and doesn't want to donate a kidney to my son. Seeing my mother-in-law being so unreasonable, people quietly left when they saw the nurse approaching. Tears streamed down my face, my voice trembling. Dr. Monroe from the obstetrics department personally examined me. She's a top obstetrician, how could it be fake? My mother-in-law furiously screamed, so what if it's real? If you're really pregnant, you still have to abort it. She swung her arm, intending to drag me. Go get an abortion right now. My in-laws, ignoring everyone's pleas, tried to pull me away. Their ugly faces were clearly captured by the camera I had arranged. The nurse arrived in time to protect me. Forcing a pregnant woman to have an abortion is punishable by imprisonment. My in-laws panicked, not daring to lay a hand on me, and quickly let go, glaring at me with resentment. I looked down at my belly, relieved that I wasn't carrying that scoundrel's child. When I first became a daughter-in-law, my mother-in-law urged me to have children every day. Chloe, this is a traditional family remedy I found for you. If you drink it, you're sure to have a precious son. But because my mother died from complications during childbirth, I didn't want to have children. However, I didn't want Ethan to be caught between me and his mother, so I always closed my eyes and drank the bitter concoction. A few years ago, she suspected I had health issues and made me get checked. Ethan, afraid I'd be sad, went with me. The result was that Ethan was infertile due to testicular atrophy, but I kept it a secret, not wanting to shame him. So, my mother-in-law still thought I had a problem and disliked me more and more. But I never expected her to want me to abort the grandchild she had longed for all this time, all for Luna. A scene flashed through my mind. How could I forget what I saw at the party in my past life? Ethan lovingly held a little boy. Be a good boy, play with Dad. Looking at the child's age, only 1 or 2, it meant that throughout the 5 years of our marriage, he had been having an affair for a long time. But Ethan couldn't have children, so whose child was Luna's? I discovered something very interesting, but telling it now would spoil the fun. The best things should be saved for last, right? While my in-laws were being scolded by the nurse, I quickly picked up my mother-in-law's dropped phone and texted Luna. That wretched Chloe won't sign. Bring the fake medical records here quickly. In my past life, Luna never appeared during the surgery process. This time, don't expect to hide peacefully behind the scenes. The whole family will suffer humiliation at my hands together. Well, as soon as I reached the main entrance of the ground floor, Luna slowly appeared. She clutched my arm like a snake. Here are Ethan's test results. Sister-in-law, my brother loves you so much. How can you be so heartless as to watch him die and not save him? My mother-in-law scurried behind, urging anxiously, Little Luna, hurry up and convince her. Luna thrust the stack of test papers close to my face. Sister, look at the results. The doctor said he has end-stage kidney failure. There are even images. Because of his kidney problems, Ethan's stomach is affected. He's nauseous, dizzy, and bedridden every day. Seeing me still indifferent, she continued to persuade me. The doctor said if he's not treated, he won't live much longer. Don't you feel bad letting your beloved husband die? She put on a dramatic act, glancing sideways at my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law, who had been frowning fiercely, now had tears streaming down her face as she clutched my arm and pleaded. Chloe, I spoke out of turn just now. I was wrong, I shouldn't have said that to you. I'm so worried about Ethan. He's so sick, I'm afraid he won't make it. My father-in-law was no less dramatic, his eyes welling up. That's right. If you don't donate a kidney, Ethan will only live a few more days. If you donate a kidney to save Ethan, you'll be our great benefactor and will be eternally grateful to you. In my past life, I was indeed grateful at my own funeral. Luna squeezed my hand tightly. There's only Chloe left. If she doesn't donate a kidney, Ethan will have difficulty surviving, and the success rate of the surgery will decrease. I looked at the report and calmly replied, "If that's the case." Hearing this, I clearly saw the glee in their eyes. Then I pretended to wipe away tears, though my eyes were dry. "If he's so sick, then fine, let's just stop his treatment altogether. We can't abandon the child in my belly for someone who's about to die." "What strange thing are you saying?" My mother-in-law's wrinkled face changed color, her eyes blazing, and she raised her hand to slap me. I blocked it and looked directly at her. "Mother, didn't you hear Luna? Ethan is beyond hope. Even with surgery, he might not survive." I rubbed my belly, intentionally pushing it out, my eyes tearful. "If the surgery fails, I lose the baby and Ethan also dies. The Brooks family will have no heir. I have a grandchild already," my mother-in-law whispered, looking at my belly without any real concern. Seeing this, Luna quickly pulled my mother-in-law's arm, her eyes flashing with panic. Everything was within my sight. I smiled faintly to myself, but it wasn't time to reveal my hand yet. Luna grasped my hand, forcing a smile. "Sister-in-law, you misunderstood. I was too worried and spoke harshly. Ethan can still be saved. With surgery, he'll live to be 100. My mother-in-law immediately understood, pretending to scold Luna. "Little Luna, you said too much and scared your sister-in-law." She then turned back to my belly. "Chloe, you still have a chance, but nothing must happen to your husband. Abort the baby to save Ethan." She feigned heartbreak, looking at me. "You didn't want children before, right? Just abort it, pretend you never gave birth. Childbirth hurts much more than abortion. Look at you now, so thin and beautiful. If you get pregnant and your belly grows, your figure will surely be ruined." Her mouth curved up as if she had found a very convincing reason. I gave a cold, hidden laugh. Before, my mother-in-law used to cook strange herbal remedies for me, constantly nagging in my ear. "Women must marry and have children. If you're afraid of pain and don't want to give birth, you're not a good woman. You're a daughter-in-law in this family now. You must obey your mother-in-law." I stroked my belly and sighed. "But my health isn't good. The doctor said if I have an abortion, it might be difficult to have children again later. I won't be able to carry on the Brooks family line." My mother-in-law grabbed my hand. "Even if you can't have children, it's okay. I won't blame you. Saving Ethan is a great kindness to our family." She turned to my father-in-law. "Old man, speak up," my father-in-law chimed in. "That's right, the whole family will only be grateful to you. If you want children, you can adopt one later. Your mother and I definitely won't object." His eyes immediately darted to Luna. I instantly guessed they wanted me to raise Ethan's illegitimate child. This kind of calculation, they were even showing it on their faces. The three of them continued discussing it, making me feel disgusted. I pressed my hand to my forehead, feigning a headache, and leaned back against a pillar. "Oh, my blood pressure is rising again. The doctor said that taking too many fertility medications and then donating a kidney would be very dangerous." Seeing me refuse repeatedly, their expressions changed. My mother-in-law yanked my hand away, angrily scolding. "I see it clearly now. You don't want to save my son. Your conscience has been eaten by dogs." She slumped to the ground, pointing at me and shouting, "Everyone look, her husband is seriously ill and his wife doesn't care." I coldly watched her perform. She did the same act before, and now she's doing it again. I gave a faint laugh. "Mother, Ethan is your son. You love him, and I love my own child." Seeing my firmness and remembering being scolded at the hospital, she turned to Luna for help. Seeing more and more people gathering, Luna suddenly knelt before me. She clutched my leg, tears streaming down her face. "Sister-in-law, I beg you save Ethan. He's still so young." The surrounding crowd had heard everything and began whispering amongst themselves. "Every family has problems. Aborting a child isn't easy." "That's true, but an unborn baby can be aborted. Saving a life is more important. If it were me, I would definitely save my husband. She never wanted children anyway." Now she's using the baby and her health as an excuse, clearly not wanting to save him. "Humans have 2 kidneys. Losing one affects health greatly." The onlookers were quite rational, not entirely siding with them. Luna, seeing this, burst into a more dramatic wail. "Auntie, Ethan is your only son. If Chloe doesn't save him, you and Uncle won't be able to live either. Sister-in-law, my brother took such good care of you. You can't only think of yourself." As she spoke, she elbowed my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law and father-in-law understood the cue and quickly ran upstairs. My father-in-law stood on the railing, glaring at me and shouting, "If you don't save Ethan, we'll jump." "We treated you so well, how can you heartlessly watch us die?" My mother-in-law screamed, her voice hoarse. "I treated you like my own daughter, took good care of you. You can't be so ungrateful." The entire hospital was in an uproar. Everyone rushed to persuade them. Don't be foolish. If you fall, you'll die instantly. If you die, who will take care of your son? Luna clung to my hand. Sister-in-law, I beg you, you can't just stand by and watch your mother-in-law and father-in-law die. As she spoke, she prostrated herself, banging her head on the ground, crying pitifully. Please have mercy. Ethan saved you before, have you forgot? If it weren't for him, you would be dead. A decisive glint appeared in my eyes. I was with Ethan because of that debt of gratitude. After my father passed away, I single-handedly managed the company, working late every day. Late one night, returning home, a man suddenly burst out, a gleaming knife at my throat. Give me the money. For my life, I handed over all my money, but he looked at me with a sinister expression, intending to do something vile. As I desperately resisted, Ethan appeared and saved me. He was like sunlight illuminating my dark world, but only upon my death did I realize it was all an act. Ethan stood before the crematorium. Stupid girl, do you know who that robber was? He was my distant cousin. Haha, I gave him 1,000 yuan to act, and I took 10 million in inheritance. Well, since I didn't say it, now I remember. The accomplice shouldn't expect to live peacefully either. Seeing my in-laws fake suicide, the crowd, which had previously been on my side, now turned their backs. Save your husband. Your mother-in-law and father-in-law are about to lose it. That's right, you can have another baby later, but your husband saved you. You can't be ungrateful. Someone even came forward and grabbed my arm. Hurry up and tell your mother-in-law and father-in-law that you agree to donate a kidney. We can't let anyone die. A child must be filial. You must obey your mother-in-law. I shook off that person's hand, feigning heartbreak, tears streaming down my face. Fine, I agree to abort the baby and donate my kidney to Ethan. My in-laws' eyes lit up, their triumph clearly visible. But before their joy could reach its peak, I presented a condition. But first, all the assets I previously shared with Ethan must be transferred back into my name. My in-laws' faces turned pale as if someone had hit a raw nerve. My mother-in-law immediately refused. No, Ethan's money isn't yours. You still have the company, you're not short on money. I declared bluntly, if you want me to give up a precious kidney, then the money must be in my hands first. The people standing around immediately agreed. Exactly. At least there should be some kind of guarantee. If you lose your health, you should be compensated with money. Are you planning to cut off their family line? They wanted to use the pressure of the crowd to make me submit, so they would also have to endure criticism from others. Luna frowned, her eyes clearly panicked, and she quickly gestured to my in-laws. My father-in-law cleared his throat and loudly announced, "All right, we agree to hand over the money to you." The two of them trembled as they came down with Luna and pulled me aside, handing me the kidney donation consent form. Sign here. I put my hand down, refusing. I can't sign now. You have to let Ethan transfer the assets to me first. My mother-in-law let out a long sigh. Ethan is in intensive care right now. He's sick, wait until he's better, then we can talk. Luna nodded repeatedly. Sister-in-law, we will definitely keep our promise. I played this game with them only to reclaim what was rightfully mine. Did they still think I had lingering feelings for Ethan? Donating a kidney first would only lead to my death. Now, all I wanted was my money back, waiting for them to taste the bitter consequences themselves. I pulled out my phone, dialed a number. Bring the documents I need to People's Hospital number 1. My mother-in-law looked at me, her eyes full of suspicion. Who are you calling? I didn't bother to answer and calmly walked straight into the hospital room. The intensive care unit is normally only peeked into through a small window, but with proper procedures, a private room can be entered. As soon as I walked in, I immediately embraced Ethan, placing my hand firmly on him. My dearest husband. He winced in pain, but still had to pretend to be weak. Why are you all here? I forcefully patted his chest, enjoying watching him struggle to endure. Luna approached with a pained expression, trying to pull my hand away. I took the opportunity to pretend to cry, lightly scratching her hand. Tears streamed down my face. Luna suppressed her anger, covering her hand, not daring to speak. Lawyer Tran appeared just in time, carrying the asset transfer agreement. Ethan asked in surprise, "Chloe, do you want my assets?" I cried and answered, "As long as you sign the asset transfer to my name, I'll immediately sign the kidney donation consent form." Your parents have already agreed. I looked towards my in-laws. Both of them looked discontent, yet outwardly tried to appear satisfied. Chloe, why are you in such a hurry? Your parents wouldn't trick you. I and Lawyer Tran ignored them. I sighed. Husband, because of you, I have to abort our child, and I won't be able to have children again later. I also have to think about my future, don't I? You love me, so you'll definitely sign the papers, right? My voice choked, intentionally emphasizing the phrase, won't be able to have children again. Indeed, upon hearing this, Ethan's eyes flashed with calculation. Without children, I'm certainly dead. The money will also go to him. Seeing my determination, Ethan considered it carefully, then glanced at Luna standing behind me and accepted the documents. Lawyer Tran and the notary public witnessed Ethan putting pen to paper and signing his name. The house, cars, and 3 million yuan in the bank account were all transferred to Chloe's name. As soon as I held the important documents firmly in my hand, I breathed a sigh of relief. Everything belonged to the Brooks family. Ethan didn't get a single cent. My mother-in-law shoved the kidney donation consent form into my hand. The money has been transferred to you. Sign it quickly. Abort the baby. Seeing the recipient's name for the kidney, I happily signed immediately. Don't worry, Mom, I'll go abort this pregnancy. Dr. Monroe was my mother's best friend. I had everything arranged a long time ago. They could bribe Dr. Reed to falsify records, and I could use my connections to trick them back. I walked out of the operating room, my face pale. My mother-in-law, waiting outside, pulled me aside and demanded I go donate my kidney. Hurry up, I've already made the arrangements, the surgery is tonight. I struggled, my eyes welling up with tears. I just had an abortion and you're already forcing me to donate a kidney. I intentionally spoke loudly, attracting everyone's attention. Oh my God, she just had an abortion. How can she donate a kidney when she's so weak? The mother-in-law is truly wicked. No wonder she has no pity since it's not her own child. My mother-in-law was pointed at by everyone, her face flushed red with anger, which was truly amusing. I clutched my stomach, feigning weakness, and said, I need to rest and recover my health, Mother. The kidney donation can wait. Guided away by a nurse, I left my mother-in-law with a furious expression. Looking back, seeing her distorted face twisted with anger, an indescribable sense of schadenfreude swelled within me. When I got home, I intentionally gave the maid a few days off, demanding my mother-in-law take responsibility for my care. Eager for me to quickly donate my kidney, she went into the kitchen, forcing a strange smile. Chloe, this is very nutritious chicken soup. Recover quickly so you can save Ethan. I took a sip and immediately spat it out, pretending to clumsily spill the entire bowl of soup on my mother-in-law. Her arm instantly turned red from the burn, and she screamed in pain. You wretched girl, I'll kill you. I dodged as fast as lightning, picked up a broken piece of the bowl and pointed it directly at her. If you injure me, who will donate a kidney to your son? This soup is so salty. Are you trying to ruin my kidney? My mother-in-law didn't dare to act, only glaring at me furiously. This soup tastes fine, you're just deliberately picking a fight with me. I had reclaimed my assets. What did I have to fear from her? I gave her a faint smile. That's right, I'm doing it on purpose. If you're so good, then don't bother taking care of me anymore, and Ethan won't live another day. My mother-in-law was so angry she stomped her foot, clutching her chest, gasping for air. You, she stammered, unable to form words, and had to go back to making other food. Watching her retreating figure, the corners of my lips subtly curved into a satisfied smile. Before, when we still had a maid, she always ordered me around. Chloe, no matter how good a woman is at making money, when she comes home, she has to cook for her husband. Vacuum cleaners waste electricity. You clean the house better yourself. Tomorrow I want ribs. Remember to buy them after work. At those times, Ethan always defended me, but whenever I saw him being scolded by his mother, I would endure it. In this life, I finally understood that they were deliberately putting on an act to make me believe that Ethan truly loved me, daring to oppose his own mother for my sake. Now it was her turn to experience what I had endured. Over the past few days, I did nothing but hire a private detective to investigate Ethan and a man named Felix. Learning that Ethan was deeply in debt due to gambling, I told the detective to leak this information to Felix. As expected, Felix immediately came to the hospital to demand money from Ethan. If you don't pay me back, I'll tell Chloe. By then, she definitely won't donate a kidney to you. You'll just have to wait to die. Ethan cursed angrily. Take the money and get out. Don't let me see your face again. Felix emptied out the remaining money in Ethan's account. Now he was penniless, but Felix shouldn't expect to spend that money freely either. He took the money to find women, and I immediately reported him to the police. So, he received a limited edition silver bracelet as a gift. I kept prolonging the time, and eventually Luna also fell ill. I told security to kick my in-laws out if they came. But before security arrived, they managed to bring fruit into the room, my mother-in-law's face full of impatience. Chloe, it's been 7 days, you're better now. I asked the doctor, and you can go to the hospital to donate a kidney. My father-in-law also urged constantly, Ethan's condition is getting worse every day. Hurry to the hospital for surgery, delaying it is very dangerous. I quietly watched the two of them perform their act, my heart full of contempt, and sighed softly. It's only been 7 days. Dr. Monroe said I need at least half a month of rest. My mother-in-law erupted, immediately yelling, No, you have to go to the hospital to donate a kidney today. Ethan can't take it anymore. We can't prolong this. With that, she and my father-in-law lunged forward, intending to pull me out of bed. I slapped her. Don't touch me. Stunned by my slap, my mother-in-law wanted to explode in rage, but my next words stopped her. You two love Luna that much? She just got admitted to the hospital and you're already so anxious. My mother-in-law's eyes began to waver, stammering, what nonsense are you talking about? The sick person is Ethan. I gave a cold sneer and opened my phone, displaying Luna's medical records on the screen. Looking at them with disdain, I said, Don't lie to me anymore. The one who really has kidney failure isn't Ethan, it's Luna. For this fake daughter-in-law, you two truly exhaust yourselves for her. My mother-in-law suddenly lunged to snatch my phone, but I quickly dodged. If you're so worried about Luna, then get out and stay with her. Security quickly arrived, restrained the two of them, and firmly dragged them outside. My mother-in-law cursed, her voice shrill, Barren hen, unfilial child, I'm your mother-in-law. By what right do you not let me stay here? My father-in-law beside her wouldn't give up either, threatening to call the police. I'll call the police and accuse you of elder abuse. His wrinkled face clearly showed triumph, as if this tactic would make me submit. I crossed my arms, a mischievous smile playing on my lips as I watched the two of them flustered. Excellent. Let the law decide. The 200,000 yuan jade bracelet you stole from me is enough to put you in prison for a long time. My mother-in-law's hands trembled, her voice weak. Talking nonsense, I didn't take any bracelet. I pulled out my phone and played the surveillance video. I installed cameras a long time ago. It recorded the entire scene of you stealing the bracelet. I'll ask a reputable lawyer to review it for you so you can prepare yourself. My in-laws looked at me, their faces drained of color. Don't call the police, we'll leave right now. They hastily packed their belongings and meekly left the house. In reality, the real jade bracelet had been gone for a while. What she took was just a cheap replica worth a few yuan. To deal with her, of course, I needed evidence. In the past, I had lost quite a bit of jewelry but had no proof. Out of concern for Ethan, I turned a blind eye. That's why a few days ago, I put on the show of flaunting the heirloom jade bracelet to provoke her and ignite her greed. As expected, she acted that night. As soon as I returned to my room, I received a video from the private detective. In the video, Ethan's face was radiant, showing no signs of illness. He affectionately embraced Luna. Luna, don't worry. I will definitely make that little girl Chloe donate a kidney to you. How dare she use kidney donation to take everything from me? When he mentioned me, his face showed clear fury and ferocity. Luna weakly leaned on Ethan, wiping off the makeup on her cheek, revealing a pale face. Husband, the doctor said I don't have long to live. I can't wait for another kidney source. Before, she never dared to disobey you, so why is she so different now? In my past life, I indeed always obeyed him, willing to give my liver, my kidney, as soon as I heard the news. But witnessing his disgusting face, I only wanted to kill him. Ethan gnashed his teeth, his voice full of hatred. That girl has always been faking it. She truly has a wolf's heart in sheep's clothing. How dare she kick my parents out? I must find her. She already signed the consent form. She absolutely must donate her kidney. I turned off the video, a cold smile playing on my lips. As expected, as soon as I sent my in-laws away, Ethan arrived. Excellent, my play was about to begin. I texted my neighbor, Daisy. Daisy, I've rested enough. It's time to start the show. Go live. Daisy quickly replied. Thanks for the help. Go ahead with the live stream. Just as she finished speaking, there was a violent pounding on the door. Chloe, get out here. Ethan yelled from outside, each punch shaking the door violently. I opened the security camera and saw a guard pulling Ethan away. Mr. Brooks, Ms. Chloe said no one from the Brooks family is allowed in here. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, and he held a knife to his own neck. Don't touch me, or I'll kill myself. No one in this high-end apartment complex wants a murder, right? I sneered. Ethan was scared to death. How dare he actually do it? The guard reluctantly said, Ms. Chloe, please come out for a moment. I opened the intercom, my voice icy cold. Do you dare to die? Ethan furiously slammed the door. Get out here and come to the hospital with me. He pulled out the kidney donation paper and pointed at the signature. This is your voluntary signature. On that day, the lawyer and notary public were present. You want the assets, so don't even think about denying it. I suddenly opened the door and dodged. Ethan lost his balance and fell to the ground. Ethan groaned and the guard quickly disarmed him. Ethan glared at me, and as soon as he stood up, he wanted to lunge at me. "Chloe, you bitch, you're coming whether you want to or not." The guard quickly held him back. Ethan screamed hysterically, "Let me go, I'm a resident here, you have no right to kick me out." I gave a faint, mocking laugh. "The house is in my name. I can kick you out whenever I want. You cheated on me, betrayed me, and now you want my kidney to save your lover? You're dreaming." I held the paper in front of him. "Look closely. The recipient isn't Luna, it's Ethan, so this paper is invalid. Luna has no right to demand my kidney." Ethan looked as if he'd been struck by lightning, stunned in place. "No way, you signed it, so you have to donate a kidney," he yelled wildly. It was the weekend, and everyone was home. The noise quickly drew the curiosity of the surrounding residents. I glanced over and saw Daisy, who was live streaming, approaching. I grabbed Ethan's hand. He tried to shake my hand off, and I immediately fell to the ground. "Ethan, you hit me for your lover?" My eyes stung, welling up with tears of indignation. Daisy immediately blocked me. My friend held up her phone, aiming it directly at Ethan. "Ethan, how dare you lay a hand on my sister?" "I'm calling the police to arrest you right now." I seized the opportunity, subtly bit my own hand hard, and tears streamed down my face. My voice choked, heavily accusing him. "Ethan, I treated you so well, and what about you? 3 years ago, you secretly betrayed me. Your child with her is already 2 years old. If I hadn't accidentally discovered the truth, I would have died from you stealing my kidney." I rushed into the house, pulled out the pregnancy test papers, my voice trembling. "Everyone, look. To save him, my in-laws forced me to abort my child. After I had the abortion, I received these photos." I threw a stack of photos in Ethan's face. They scattered all over the ground. Neighbors crowded around to see. Everyone saw the intimate photos of Ethan and Luna. Daisy brought her camera closer. They were embracing in the hospital room. Ethan was even holding a child, playing with Luna. The scene was no different from a happy family of 3. The neighbors looked at Ethan with disgust. "We thought he was a model husband, but it turns out it was all an act. A freeloading husband who cheats on his wife and tricks her into donating a kidney to his mistress. What a heartless scoundrel." Ethan's face turned pale, cold sweat pouring down him. "All these things are fake. That Chloe girl made it up. She's tricking everyone. Luna is just my cousin, she's not my mistress." I slapped him across the face. "Even now, you dare to lie?" My tears wouldn't stop falling. "You made up that she's your cousin so you two would have an excuse to meet. I even wanted to introduce a boyfriend to her, and she always refused. It turns out you two have been sleeping together for a long time." Ethan was about to explain when my mother-in-law rushed in and interrupted him. She hastily said, "Luna is sick again. She's in the emergency recovery room and absolutely must have a kidney transplant right away, or she'll die." Ethan's face was ashen. He no longer had the presence of mind to defend himself. He pleaded, "Honey, I admit I cheated. Chloe, please save her. My child can't be without a mother, and I can't be without her either. Please save her just this once. What's wrong with donating one kidney?" My mother-in-law gripped my hand tightly, imploring. "Chloe, you're a good daughter-in-law. Save little Luna. She's only 3 years old. She can't be without a mother." "You were unhappy as a child without a mother. You know how hard it is for a child without a mother, don't you?" Daisy sneered. "You want your wife to save your mistress? You people are shameless. Chloe, don't be soft-hearted. Everyone supports you." I gratefully squeezed Daisy's hand. I absolutely would not back down. Ethan broke free from the encirclement, knelt before me, and repeatedly kowtowed. "Chloe, I beg you, all the mistakes are mine. I shouldn't have plotted the kidney donation. I shouldn't have cheated. You can hit me, curse me, it's fine." I unexpectedly stomped hard on his hand. The pain made him gnash his teeth, his eyes full of resentment. "As long as you agree to save Luna, I'll do anything." I gave a cold laugh and pulled out the divorce papers. "I will never donate a kidney to Luna. Sign here, we'll divorce. From now on, we'll have nothing to do with each other." Ethan's face twisted. "I won't sign." I looked at him disdainfully. "Do you have a choice?" I looked directly into his eyes, full of provocation. "If you don't sign, we'll go to court. You cheated, so you'll definitely lose the case. You and Dr. Reed falsified medical records. I have proof. It involves organ trafficking. If you don't agree, you'll go to jail." Ethan looked at me as if he'd seen a ghost. He slumped to the ground, hands clutching his head, pulling at his hair. No money, unwilling to go to jail, he finally signed, trembling. I dragged all his belongings out and threw them outside. "Take your stuff and get out." Ethan and my mother-in-law were pointed at and cursed by everyone. This mother-in-law used to badmouth Chloe all over the neighborhood. Now it's clear. Forcing her daughter-in-law to abort a child to donate a kidney to a mistress is truly vicious. Get out. If we see you again, we'll beat you again. Under everyone's scorn, they lowered their heads in shame and left. As Daisy was about to end the live stream, I intentionally mentioned Ethan's workplace. With the power of money, I bought a trending article on Weibo. Traitor Ethan scamming faking illness kidney donation to mistress hash. Ethan suddenly became famous, but not for good reasons. He became the target of furious criticism from netizens. Netizens collectively dug up his personal information. My wretched husband had now become the center of intense criticism. Everyone demanded appropriate punishment from his employer. They expressed their outrage with harsh words. How can a person like him be allowed to work as a public official in the state apparatus? It's disgraceful. He must be immediately removed from the ranks. The shouts were endless about whether such an immoral person was qualified to hold a public office. And along with that came demands for a thorough investigation into how his recruitment process was carried out. In the end, Ethan was stripped of the job he valued. Everything happened very quickly. Following that was a widespread wave of indignation from a live broadcast. I continued to push by releasing a video I recorded of myself crying in the hospital. The film exposed the naked truth about my mother-in-law's cunning and cruel actions as she tried every possible way to fabricate, slander, and humiliate me to the point of forcing me to abort my pregnancy. Additionally, Luna, my husband's so-called mistress, revealed her deceptive nature by using moral manipulation to force me to donate a kidney. I was very careful and meticulous in editing, creating a strong contrast in the video, clearly showing their triumphant and gleeful expressions while I endured extreme pain, crying out in despair. This stark and harsh contrast ignited a powerful wave of anger within the online community. Not stopping there, netizens went to great lengths to find and publicize all of Luna's personal information, even descending upon the hospital, causing chaos, expressing their outrage with resolute words. "Get this hussy out of here. Everyone knows what happened." The hospital had no choice but to demand Luna's immediate discharge. No one would accept her. Not stopping there, the house she was renting endured daily psychological torture, continuously receiving horrifying gifts, including razors and dead rats, sent directly to her. I, with a fake benevolent appearance, simply responded by placing another box of live cockroaches, causing her entire family to endure days of panic and terror. After only 3 short days, a message from a private detective reached me, informing me of Luna's death. As I looked at the message, a cold smile unconsciously appeared at the corner of my mouth. "Luna, this is the price you pay for what you've done." I decided to attend her funeral, watching from afar as Ethan held her ashes, weeping bitterly, endlessly wailing. "Luna, rest assured, I will avenge you and compensate for everything. I will take good care of our child." Unlike his past pretense and false tears, now he was truly heartbroken, crying as if his guts were being ripped to shreds. The passing of his white moonlight, the woman he loved, was truly too great a shock, a devastating blow to him. My mother-in-law, in her sorrow, tried to comfort the wailing child. "Be a good boy, don't cry anymore. You must remember very carefully, it was Chloe, that girl, who caused your mother's death." Seeing that scene, I subtly smiled mysteriously, secretly sending a message. Immediately afterwards, a group of aggressive men rushed in, rampaging through the funeral. "You scammers, you dared to deceive me in love. Even in death, you won't rest in peace with me." Ethan, in despair, tried to shield the urn, his eyes bloodshot, screaming pitifully, "Stop, this is my wife Luna's memorial hall, you've got the wrong place. Get out." The tattooed man, the leader, snatched the urn, smashed it to the ground, and loudly declared, "I found the right person, it's Luna. That damn bitch said she was pregnant with my child, conned me out of a lot of my money, but in the end, it was someone else's child." Ashes scattered everywhere, trampled by the crowd. Even the child fell, terrified and wetting himself in the ashes. Ethan couldn't believe what he was witnessing, trembling as he yelled, "Nonsense! Luna only had me. How could she swindle money for a child?" The tattooed man gave a cold laugh, smashing Luna's photo with one hand, uttering contemptuous words. Who knows how many men that old hag slept with? He looked at the child, then turned to Ethan, growling, "If it's your child, then you have to pay us back the money. 300,000, not a single penny less." Upon hearing about money, my mother-in-law erupted in fury, yelling, "Hey, don't even dream about it. If you want your money, go down and find her to demand it. If you're so good, just go die." The man, spat on his face by her, immediately delivered a powerful kick to her stomach. She screamed in pain, falling to the ground. The man picked up the crying child and threatened, "If you don't pay the money, I'll chop off all 10 of its fingers," turning it into a cripple unable to fend for itself. The gleaming knife was held to the child's hand. It was so terrified it fainted. My mother-in-law shrieked in despair, "Don't cut its fingers, I beg you, don't harm my grandchild. We'll give you any amount of money." "Ethan, give him the money. Little Bao is the future of the Brooks family." Ethan gnashed his teeth, his lips trembling. "Mom, I'm out of money." My father-in-law pulled out his bank card, his face filled with pain. "This is the money for our own funeral. Take it and spare my grandchild." As the noisy crowd withdrew, I watched with satisfaction as my mother-in-law tearfully embraced her grandchild before putting on sunglasses and leaving the chaotic scene. Very soon after, I received a 200,000 yuan bank transfer from the tattooed man. He had been scammed by Luna, but the reason was that she had previously lured him into gambling, and he lost 100,000 yuan. This 200,000 yuan was actually the money my in-laws had taken from me earlier. They wouldn't get a single penny of my money. At our next meeting, I saw them outside the apartment complex. All three looked utterly miserable and disheveled. As soon as he saw me, Ethan went insane, lunging like a rabid dog, yelling, "You vicious woman, you deliberately ruined me, made me lose everything. I'll beat you to death." He raised his hand to strike, but the bodyguards I had hired beforehand blocked him. I had anticipated that they would be lurking around me these past few days. So I had hired bodyguards to protect myself early on. I threw a medical report, slamming it down at Ethan's feet. "This is your premarital health checkup result, proving you are infertile." Ethan stared at the report, his eyes wide with shock and disbelief. "No way, I'm definitely not infertile. Then why were you pregnant?" I sneered, a cold laugh as if witnessing a cheap joke. "I was never pregnant. My claim of pregnancy was just a plan to buy time, a simple trick." Ethan's face momentarily showed anger. He stared at my belly where there were no signs of pregnancy. "Luna and I had a child a long time ago. You're the one who can't have children," I retorted with a mocking look, as if revealing a long-held secret. "Let me tell you something. Luna's child isn't yours. It's the child of her ex-boyfriend, Kyle." I threw another DNA test report down, where the results were clearly affirmed. "Ethan and little Bao have no blood relation whatsoever." "I heard you two spent all your assets to save your illegitimate grandchild. What a chivalrous act, truly generous." "Ha." My father-in-law, his face gaunt and despairing, cried out, "Oh my God, my money, it's all gone. All the money saved for our old age was used to save someone else's child." My mother-in-law's eyes filled with hatred and hostility. "Luna, you treacherous wretch, you dared to deceive us. The Brooks family is ruined." Then both of them looked up at the sky and wailed, before collapsing to the floor. Ethan looked at the dates on the report, his eyes burning with resentment, his sharp gaze fixed directly on me. "You knew everything before Luna died and intentionally hid it, only speaking up now." A voice full of fury erupted, accompanied by curses. "You vicious, despicable woman, why didn't you say something sooner?" I coldly gestured to the bodyguards standing around, ordering them to restrain him tightly, and immediately delivered a powerful slap to his face. "You wanted my money, you wanted my life. What right do you have to accuse me of being vicious? I intentionally waited until you lost everything, before I let you know this cruel truth. Ethan, your bottomless greed destroyed your own life with your own hands." Ethan fell to his knees hitting the ground. Looking at how miserable the three of them were, I felt an indescribable sense of schadenfreude. I turned, got into the car, and drove away. But I didn't just want Ethan to face that dire situation. Upon thoroughly checking the assets, I discovered his fraudulent activities. At the time Luna broke up with her ex-boyfriend and got back together with him, I still hadn't transferred the assets to him. He audaciously embezzled public funds to buy a house for Luna, an utterly blatant and audacious act. I immediately reported all the evidence to the prosecutor's office. When Ethan was arrested, I stood at a distance to observe. He saw me, his eyes pleading and begging. "Chloe, please help me return the money. I know I was wrong. Can we start over?" He continued in a desperate tone. "I promise I'll never cheat again. I'll love and take care of you wholeheartedly." I pushed him away with my foot, his face immediately changed color. "If I hadn't saved you from those thugs, you would have died long ago." His tone became threatening. "You owe me." Once again, the so-called life-saving grace was used to threaten me. I looked directly at Ethan with a cold voice. The thug who kidnapped me that day was actually a distant relative of yours, Felix. After extorting money from you, he was arrested. His whole body stiffened, as if he'd been struck by lightning. You, how did you know? His shameful and criminal act had been recorded by passers-by and posted on social media. People, using that evidence, uncovered the entire truth. He once again became the center of outrage and criticism. Scum like him deserves to die. Live a happy life for yourself, sister. I heard his white moonlight wasn't even his child, yet he blindly believed it. Haha, what massive horns, serves him right. Ethan, for embezzlement of public funds and involvement in organ trafficking, was ultimately sentenced to life imprisonment. Dr. Reed, who accepted bribes and falsified medical records, was fired and sentenced to 5 years in prison. I hired someone to inform Felix's family that Ethan was the one who put him in jail. When Felix found out, he sought out Ethan in prison to take revenge. You cuckold, how dare you trick me? I'll beat you to death. Ethan was slammed headfirst into a wall, blood gushing, both legs broken. As for Ethan's parents, Felix's family relentlessly pursued them, seizing their house and forcing them to wander the streets. Everything had been settled. I brought a wreath to the cemetery. Looking at my parents' photos on the tombstone, tears stung my eyes. Mom and Dad, in my past life, I misjudged people and let our inheritance fall into the hands of scoundrels. Fortunately, this time I get a fresh start. I will definitely protect this company well.